Welcome to Optimal Timelines. My name is Sean, and this is going to be your February 2026 tarot readings for your North Node by sign and house. Now, if you're new to my channel, the reason I use the North Node in tarot readings as opposed to your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant sign is that it's recognized in astrology your North Node is your North Star. It's what you're here to learn, accomplish, and master in this lifetime. So it's much more relevant to your everyday life and much more accurate in tarot readings. Now remember, you're going to want to watch two readings, one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house. Now, before we dive in, I just want to say that there's lots of things going on in the world. We're all feeling it. The collective world seems to be lots of chaos, okay? But what these readings are about, these are about our individual life path and our individual consciousness. So we don't have control over many things that are going on in the world, but we do have control over what is going on within us. And that's what these readings are all about. So with that, I'm going to connect to the energies and we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides, guardians, and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see and hear these readings, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, North Node in Aries and or the first house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the reversed Seven of Swords. And what I'm feeling like for this reading is that, swords rule all sorts of communication, whether that be verbal communication or written communication, text, emails, so on and so forth. And what I think is, I think that there is something that you are going to become aware of the first 2 weeks of February that has to do with communication or miscommunication. And it could have been something that I'm getting the feeling that might have been kind of, maybe sneaky or underhanded or something that, someone didn't want you to know for whatever reason. And this is actually a positive thing when this comes to light because it's going to give you a lot of clarity on what steps to take. Okay. So there's something, as I said, revolving communication where when you understand this and kind of look at it, it's going to give you clarity in a situation that may have been a little bit confusing. Okay, let's look at your timeline cards and we'll get some more clarity on this. So you've got the reversed Nine of Swords. You've got the 10 of Pentacles upright. And you've got the 5 of Wands reversed. So starting with the Nine of Swords reversed, this is a positive card because this situation in general, it could have been with a person or a situation with multiple people. It could have been causing you some anxiety because, worry and anxiety, a lot of times we make up things in our mind. And when we see what's actually happening, it's a lot less, I guess, detrimental than what we thought, And so when this communication becomes available to you and you understand it and see it for what it is, it's going to relieve you of some anxiousness and from some worry. Okay, so this is a very positive thing. Now, moving on to this 10 of Pentacles, okay, upright. I feel like, this is about family legacy. And I feel like that for some of you, this could involve like family members or those close to you that are like a close knit group, like a family or people within that. But essentially what this is doing, because this is in its upright state, it's going to help you to move forward into the legacy that you want to build. Because ultimately what we're all doing, we all have, different needs, wants, desires. But essentially what we're all doing is we're all in our own way trying to build the best legacy that we can. Obviously we want to be, have strong relationships, be healthy, happy. That's all about our legacy. And I feel like ultimately this is going to have a positive effect on you moving forward, which, this card, lots of cards in the tarot talk about, our future selves in a positive way. But this has to do with like that legacy aspect of like what we're really trying to build. And as I said, some of the players involved in this situation could be within this family group, but ultimately it's going to help kind of build that legacy in a positive way. Now, the Five of Wands reversed is another positive card. All of the five cards in the tarot deck are positive in their reverse state. And so, again, this is what I'm talking about with confusion. The situation seemed confusing and chaotic, like it was, what's going on here, right? But when you see and hear what's going on clearly, like you're going to see the situation for what it was and is based on this communication that's going to come to light. It's going to help make it less confusing, and you're going to feel like you're not stuck in this kind of middle chaotic position. Okay, so it is going to be this positive effect on you and your life. Now we'll look at the advice card. So you've got the Seven of Pentacles upright, and you've got the Four of Pentacles reversed. We'll start with the Four of Pentacles. Both of these cards are pentacles, obviously, and that has to do with everything in our life that is of value, whether that be literal things of value or other things of value that are non-tangible, like our time, our love, our health, our relationships, okay? And yes, of course, money, finances, and all of that. What this situation is going to do, and this is why this reading is so positive, is, again, this Four of Pentacles reversed is saying that it's going to help relax you, because I feel like this situation was not only bringing anxiety, but it was bringing and worry, but it was making you tense, because when we're unsure of what's going on and we're in a situation that seems chaotic, we tend to tense up and hold on to things, and we protect ourselves, and we become like sheltered, just like this card is showing. But because it's reversed, it's saying like, okay, now I can relax a little bit. I can relax into what I need to do. And we've all been there, where we see a situation and it starts to be more clear to us, and we kind of like relax and breathe a sigh of relief. That's kind of what I'm feeling about this. And then this Seven of Pentacles is saying, okay, this is again about growing your legacy, but now it's about looking for what you want to grow. A lot of times when we get out of a situation, and that could be in a bad work situation, in a relationship situation, even if we don't get out of it, but if we clean up or clear something within our lives in a relationship or job, or whatever that the case may be, it clears you up to now like move forward into something positive. And this is like what you want to grow. So the advice here is that when you start to feel this relief, it's saying like, start looking, toward the future. Now, what is it that you want to build? Remember, your North Node's in Aries, and or the first house. This is a lifetime for you to be proactive, to take action, to move forward. You're the maverick, you're the warrior, you're the hero. So what is it you want to do when you have this energy freed up? Take it, to your advantage, and move forward into what you want to do. Dream big and go for it, because being impulsive in this lifetime is really good for you, North Nodes in Aries, and the first house. So really, like, taking action, you'll always be rewarded for taking action, where some astrological signs and some North Nodes not so much. But for you, taking action, it's almost like when the cat slides off the roof, it always lands on its feet, type of a thing. And that's what happens when you jump off and you take that leap. You're most of the time going to land on your feet. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to learn more about your chart, there's going to be a link to my website in the description box below. Thanks so much. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Taurus and or the second house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Five of Pentacles upright. Now, one of the things that this card is talking about, and I recognized it right away when I saw this card along with the other cards. One of the things that happens when you have a North Node in Taurus and or the second house is the universe and life in your chart is telling you that this is a lifetime for you to move forward boldly. And the key word is independence. Okay. As opposed to if your North Node was in Scorpio, that's where people need to be more interdependent. Okay. Because, you know, Scorpio rules close, intimate connections with people. And you can have that with the North Node in, Taurus or the second house, but you have to this is forcing you to kind of be your own person. Now, the reason this card came up is you can see that these people, like, they're hurt, injured, they're walking through the snow, they seem kind of down and out. And one of them is looking longingly at this glowing, warm window. So there could be like a fire inside. Okay. This is basically a feeling of like being out in the cold. And this is one of the things that you North Nodes in Taurus uh, and or the second house have gone through in life. Like there's a feeling of like not getting enough support from people around you, organizations around you. It's like almost like the rug's getting pulled out, from under you. If it feels like to you a lack of support, and that is based on your South Node in Scorpio in the eighth house. And so this feeling, if you really think back, like every time I talk to, North Nodes in Taurus or the second house, they're like, yeah, it just feels like I don't have the support I need. Well, we're going to get into this reading, and really dive into this, but I want you to remember this, that you don't need support, but you don't need as much support as you think. You're being rewarded for going out, Taurus, the bull, strong, being out there and being independent. Support will come later, but there could be the feeling of like, why don't I have enough support around me? Okay, and that's one of the critical things that people go through with this North Node. Now let's look at your timeline cards, and we'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Sun card upright. You've got the Hierophant upright, and you've got the Two of Wands upright. Okay, starting with the Sun card. Okay, this is a beautiful card to get in any reading, especially upright. And, this is a card that is telling you that there is something inside of you. It could be an idea, a dream, something that, you feel like you want to nurture, but you're not sure kind of how to, or as I said before, it seems like, oh, I don't have enough support around me. I don't have enough, money or whatever it is. And so you have this inside you, and you don't need anything else but to just take action in doing what it is that you feel deep inside that you want to go for in life. And so this is saying like, there's almost like this underlying optimism that's in you, but it's sometimes like you feel optimistic, but then all of a sudden start thinking, well, I'm not sure how this is all going to work out. Okay. But you got to just stop with that optimism right there and not take it any further and say, this is your roadmap of like where you need to go. It's that optimism is like fueling. It's basically inspiration. That's what the Sun is, talking about. So ride that inspiration and take it to somewhere, tangible. Now, the Hierophant's interesting because this card has multiple meanings, many, many meanings, but one of the things that this card means is it's higher learning. So this could mean like learning something from, taking courses, furthering education sometimes. And so some of you may be thinking like, oh, okay, this is something that I want to develop more of this aspect of myself, or you want to continue learning something. And you have what it takes to do that. This is something where whatever's inside you, this like seed of inspiration, can really benefit your life and benefit the world. And what this is saying is, it's saying continue that, continue learning that, even if it's just like, taking this path of step by step, methodically moving down and learning and refining something in your life. It could be, did you want to start a business? As I said, you want to go back to school and further your education, or maybe like change careers, something to that effect. But higher learning and continuing this learning process is really going to help you. And it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. You could be retired, and you could say like, oh, I want to continue on with this, because moving forward into something independently will always benefit you. Now, this is all playing out with this Two of Wands. And literally, this card upright is really saying that, you have control of your world. It doesn't feel like it. If you look back on your life, a lot of times, if it doesn't feel like you have control, and the reason for that is a lot of times North nodes in Taurus or the second house, again, are looking for that support structure around them. Like, I don't feel like I'm strong or have control of my life unless I feel like I have this support around me. But if you look at this card carefully, the person is looking out, planning the future. They're on a very stable battlement of a building, like a castle, right? So they're on stable ground. They're wearing fine clothes. But more importantly, their world that they're holding is in their hands. They're supporting their own dreams. And that's what this card is saying is that you have to support your own dreams first and foremost. And that's something that, with that South Node in Scorpio or the 8th house, it just seems like I don't feel like I can do this unless other people are supporting my dream or my goals, or, moving forward. So let's look at your advice cards here. So you've got the Four of Cups upright, and you've got the King of Wands. The King of Wands is, saying this is, talking about the energy of the inspiration that's in you. This is the inspiration, the fire that is inside you, that you know and you feel. But the card that holds it back is this Four of Cups, because this is like emotionally, like, again, not seeing the full picture, like saying like, well, I'm not sure about this emotionally. I'm not sure about which way to go. And so there's like some confusion. There's a little bit of kind of, depression, because you're not seeing the full picture. And that's what this cup here is trying to show you. The universe is trying to show you, you can do this. There's something that you're not seeing, some aspect of yourself that you haven't recognized yet. And when you find that aspect of yourself, which is that inner King of Wands, which is inspiration, which is boldness, moving forward into your dreams, not worrying about what everyone else thinks. Look, this is what I want to do. And you're going to find that eventually, and this is what happens with our North Node a lot, you're going to find that you will get support down the road, but first you have to support your own dreams. You have to be the supporter. Now, how long you have to be the sole supporter, it depends on, lots of factors, but you need to do that as long as it takes. But eventually what ends up happening is people will come on board, and you'll get that support that you crave. But first, you have to be able to support it and not wait for others to kind of support that. So yeah, what is it inside you that, something you want to do? It could be wild. Some of you might want to be moving to a new area, or doing something, that you dream about, starting a business, or, doing something like a new hobby, or whatever it is. There's something that you're being told to do, and you need to like go with that, because you will be supported in moving forward, boldly. You, and also the North nodes in Aries, you are always supported for moving out boldly into something. So Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. Also, I have a membership program with members-only videos where I go into deep dives of how to work with your astrological placements, especially your North Node, in enhancing your life. So we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Gemini and or the third house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Strength card. And when I saw this card, I knew immediately what it was talking about for you North Nodes in Gemini or the third house for the first half of February. That this card is saying that there is going to be a situation that comes up this first half of February that requires finesse. It requires tact and thoughtfulness, and gentleness too. And you can see this card here. You have the maiden that is like taming the lion, and the lion represents in its ultimate form. It could be the side of ourselves or situations that's like very kind of chaotic, and it's almost like a wild animal, because as humans we have like two sides, but it could be a situation that just seems kind of very kind of out of control, right? And sometimes there's different ways that we need to deal with situations in our life. Sometimes situations require that we deal with them in a very like aggressive, assertive way, bold. I mean, there's a time and a place for that. But many times in life, situations require more kind of finesse, thoughtfulness. And that's one of the key things for you North Nodes in Gemini or the third house, because you're ruled by Mercury. You are the problem solvers of the North Nodes. You are the puzzle solvers. You are the ones that use your mind, your wit, your words in a positive way, and not not in a blunt way. So bluntness isn't what you do best. Although with that South Node in Sagittarius or the ninth house, that's one of the reasons why this reading came up, is because sometimes that bluntness does kind of come out. But this is saying that this situation requires delicateness and finesse. Now let's look at your timeline. You've got the Eight of Swords upright. You've got the Queen of Cups reversed, and you've got the Seven of Swords reversed. Now, a lot of times in readings, I'll see these timeline cards, and for me, that they're looking at a, sequential, pointing to this sequential, area where they're moving within sequence into some final kind of, area. But lots of times they're actually individual little things that can happen, little situations. And I think that for each of you, there's going to be a different situation that's going to come up. And each of these is talking about this different kind of a scenario or a situation. So starting with the Eight of Swords upright, I feel like that the first area that's going to need some finesse is a lot of you could be dealing with something internally or someone close to you where they're not seeing something clearly or thinking about something clearly. This is like a card of our mind can be like a prison of our own making. It could be we don't see that we have control in a situation in order to get out of it. And so I feel like for some of you, it's going to be referring to you, like it's going to require this problem puzzle solving area of your mind that you are so good at, to where you're going to figure out, oh, wait a minute, I see that I can get out of this maze. And, I've had the ability to get out of it the whole time. And then for others of you, it's going to be helping someone that you're dealing with, with that kind of a situation. So look for areas in life, either within yourself or others this first half of February, where you might see something that wasn't known to you before or that they're not seeing. Okay. And again, it's going to require finesse. It's going to require, and when I mean finesse, it means like thoughtfulness. It's not going to require a lot of like hard work and elbow grease, but just a little bit of a thought process. Okay. But you'll know when you see it. Okay. And you're going to recognize it, and there is a way out. So, whether this is for yourself or for someone else close to you. Now, the next card, the Queen of Cups, is referring to a person in your life. I feel like there's going to be this emotionally charged situation for some of you where you have to help this person get through this. You're using your mind and your connection to your knowledge, because Gemini in the third house rules knowledge, to where you can help them see something emotionally, because it's really difficult. We all know this, that when we are very emotionally distraught, none of us can see things clearly. Okay. And a lot of times it helps to have someone close to you that can help you see things clearly when emotions are like overrun. And I feel like there's going to be this person where you're going to be able to help them, but it's going to require, now this might be a situation where you could also be emotionally involved, and that's why this takes some delicateness and some finesse, because when we're kind of embroiled in an emotional situation with somebody, we also can get swept away. And so this is where that kind of higher mind comes in from your North Node, where you can okay, let's just try to do this in a different way. Let's put emotions aside right now and try to see our way through this. And again, it's going to require this kind of delicate action on your part. And then lastly over here, this Seven of Swords reversed. This is definitely talking about communication. And I feel like there's going to be something for some of you where there's a miscommunication or a communication that wasn't great. It might have been kind of maybe, underhanded or hit the wrong way, or, could have been kind of, sneaky or something, maybe, gossipy, or, something to that effect. Like for example, a quick example, like in a work situation, if you have a work rival or someone you work with, and someone is spreading something negative either about you or like someone else, work politics, we've all, been through them, right? And so again, the way to handle it is, especially in work situations, now for some of you it's not going to be work, but let's just say it does require a lot of times when you're dealing with communication, like, oh, this person said that or whatever, it requires definitely like finesse and cleverness, because you don't want to just like, a lot of times, burst into someone's office or confront them, in a very blunt way. Okay. Even though we might feel like doing that. So I think for some of you, you're going to be dealing with some sort of communication, and you don't want to, whether this is in, a work or career, or it could be in a personal relationship, you want to use this kind of finesse. And again, these are all skills that you have as a North Node in Gemini, and something that needs to be, really, really kind of developed through your whole life. Okay. Now your advice cards are, you've got the Nine of Pentacles upright, and you've got the Ten of Cups reversed. Okay. Really what this is saying, this reading is that you might say, okay, what is the advantage of me dealing with this situation or situations in a more finessed way, in a more delicate way, in a more intelligent way? Okay. This ultimately has to do with your emotional fulfillment. Okay. And the reason I say that is because when you learn and you develop this skill of being clever and thinking outside the box in problem solving situations, and not just taking like blunt actions, when you learn that, ultimately what this is doing for you is it's helping create emotional fulfillment in your life, and you will feel it right away. Like if you were able to navigate these situations, whether it be one or multiple situations the first half of February, you are going to see definite results in your life. Like you're going to come on the other side of it. And what does that mean? That means that, just as a quick example, like let's say that you handle a situation with another person where there was some sort of, bad communication or miscommunication. And instead of reacting bluntly or, you know, over aggressively to the situation, you thought it through, you were able to use some, finesse and tact, and you're able to navigate that. Well, then you come to find out that, you know, you could be friends with this person, or this situation was observed by someone else and you are rewarded for it. You see what I mean? This is just an example of how on the other side this can lead to emotional fulfillment. So it's important. It's not just a matter of, okay, I did this and yay for me, but it could actually like give tangible results in your life. Now, this Nine of Pentacles is saying that really how you want to do this is about you being solid within yourself. So one of the other things that happens is when we move through life um, with tactfulness, we're not being like pushed around and triggered by every little thing. And essentially that's what this is saying. When we're able to deal with situations that are even emotionally charged, we're not being manipulated or pushed around or led uh, and affected by the situation. When we move with tact, that's another thing about the Strength card. Is this is the ultimate strength to have, because you can bypass your initial like gut feelings about how you want to react to something, and you can say, wait a minute, let me like really think about this. Let me problem solve. Let me think about what the best way to handle this is. That's real power. And what this card is saying is it's standing in your power, essentially enhancing who you are, which means you become a more relaxed person. You become a more like poised person, because you're not just allowing yourself to be triggered by every little thing. You can take that kind of higher road. So yeah, really, really positive for you to do this. So just think of ways where, you know, don't react to situations. How can you move through the whole month, but especially the first half of February, with tact, control, and poise? So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or just show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. Remember, I have a membership program where I have members only videos. If you'd like to learn more about your individual North Node and how to work with it, as well as learning other metaphysical type of subjects. So with that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Cancer and or the fourth house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that popped out for you is the Ten of Wands. And when you look at this card, obviously it's a card of, carrying burdens. Many times, a lot of readers, they only look at this card as a negative. And just like everything in life, everything has a positive and a negative side. Carrying burdens isn't, always negative. Like for example, let's say that a person is trying to get in, better health, and they want to start eating and exercising more, right? And it's very burdensome to begin a program like that, to like stick with it. Or someone wants to learn a skill, or even like, go to college and get a degree. These are positive burdens that we take on. They're not easy, but they're positive in the sense that we are getting something from them. And I think that that's what this is saying in this reading, is that a lot of you have or will or have been thinking about kind of doing something, taking on some burdens that are going to enhance your life. And I think for a lot of you, it has to do with expanding learning of some sort, whether that be in a formal way or just in general, like definitely like learning something that is uh, going to enhance your life. And so like for some of you, that could be a formal education, or it could be like learning new work skills, or just something in general that maybe you're reading, a book, going to a seminar. And I think that's going to play big time. But a lot of you are in this kind of learning phase. Now, let's look at your timeline. So you've got the High Priestess upright, you've got the Hierophant upright, and you've got the Nine of Swords reversed. So starting with the High Priestess, this is learning that's been going on for you for a while, where this is a card of inner excellence and inner power. A lot of you have been developing, um, just learning through life, and learning what to do, what not to do, what has worked and what hasn't. This is causing you to, this is the learning I'm talking about, which is informal, which is just kind of learning from your own life experiences. And really what you're doing is you're tapping into some of the gifts that you have naturally. One of the things that you have with the North Node in Cancer, or the fourth house, is you've got this gift of emotional intelligence, which is a huge superpower. Your sensitivity, the more you develop it and allow yourself to work with it, it's a huge superpower for you to enhance your life. But here's the thing. For a lot of you, it seems like sensitivity seems like a burden to carry. Like, oh man, I wish I wasn't so sensitive about this, or didn't care too much about that. And that's that Capricorn South Node, or 10th house South Node, that's kind of talking. But one of the things that you're doing is this: you're learning from experiences that, wow, when I allow myself to be sensitive and pick up on these things, I might have, super intuitive abilities. I have ability to read people, read the rooms, read situations, and understand them at a deep emotional level. That's a huge, amazing skill to have. So that's one of the things, that a burden that you've been carrying, and you're seeing, a lot of you are seeing the benefit of. If you haven't started seeing the benefit of being a sensitive person, you will. I think that this month, a lot of this is going to kind of come to fruition, because you'll be able to use this in different situations, I think, throughout this whole month. Now, the Hierophant is a card of higher learning. Okay, it's about belief systems, ways of being, philosophy, personal philosophy, and other philosophies. And this is something to where a lot of you are literally kind of enhancing your education in some way. You're learning something new, and in a physical way. And if not, a lot of you have been thinking about it. If you've been thinking about it but haven't really started doing it, it's something you might really want to start doing, which is take on that new form of learning. Okay, whatever it is you might want to do. Is it, even if it's just like learning a new job skill, or something that you need to kind of take on and develop. And I'm seeing a very similar thing for a lot of the north nodes right now. And I think what it is that there's so much going on in the world, and you naturally having these gifts of being sensitive. When you focus your mind on like learning within yourself, and something tangible, like a physical learning program, whether that be reading a book or some sort of formal education, of some sort, it helps to refocus your mind into positive, okay? Because there is so much going on. A lot of times you north nodes in Cancer and or the fourth house are like feeling it from around you. And so it's a very healthy distraction, okay? So this is a burden that you really should take on just for your own well-being, of just learning something that you've always wanted to learn. Now, again, the reason I say that is because you have this, Nine of Swords reverse, which is about like not worrying so much, not having the anxiety, like overthinking things. And that's a real important aspect of your North Node, is be able to not let your mind kind of go into a negative space where that turns into emotional negativity. Okay. And so by you really focusing in on your life and moving forward, taking on a burden of some sort, whether that be, whether it's learning or not, just like taking on a burden, like, do I want to make my, do I want to, be a healthier person? Do I want to read more books? Do I want to spend more time with friends? Do I want to, whatever it is, like start raising a puppy, whatever it is, all of anything that you're taking on, like, raising children and raising animals are a burden, but it's a positive thing because it helps you to not, stay in a negative mindset, and kind of because of your, sensitivity and being so sensitive. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Two of Wands upright and you've got the Three of Cups upright. Okay, really positive. So starting with the Three of Cups, one of the things that this is saying in all of this is the closer your emotional connections are, your positive emotional connections, the three maidens here, yes, are celebrating, but their cups are intertwined because it's our deep connection to other people in our life, okay? Our deep emotional connection. The more you can do that, the stronger you're going to be, the more happy you will be. And it's not always easy because, sometimes we have people in our life that, can be difficult emotionally, but you have to find your tribe, those people that you can really kind of vibe with emotionally. And that's one of the things that this is saying along with this, okay? This is one of the things that you're learning. But again, we'll get back to the burden thing, because when we have close emotional relationships, it's not always easy. Other people are human and they have bad days, bad weeks, bad months. They go through things. We have to be there for them emotionally. They should be there for us emotionally. Okay. That is a burden. It's not always like happy all the time. Okay. There's things that we all go through emotionally. And so it isn't always a celebration, but it is important for you in this lifetime to make sure that your emotional connections are strong, even though that might seem burdensome sometime, right? Now, the Two of Wands is really saying that in all of this, whether you know it or not, you have a lot of control over your life, okay? That's why, the person here that is standing on solid ground of a castle or some other large stone estate has the globe in their hand. They literally have the what they need to make their world a better place. And that's what this is saying, is when you do this and you are able to say, okay, I'm going to take on some positive burdens in my life, I'm going to do this, you're literally taking your life back. You are more in control of your life, which again causes less anxiety. When we take action and we do something that is of a positive nature, even though it might be sometimes, especially at first, like burdensome, but when we do that, we're taking control back of, our life personally, of our internal life, okay? And that is very, very empowering. And so that's really what this is all about, is that, realizing that, essentially what we're doing is we are, lessening our sensitivity and connection to the outer world, so we're not tossed around like, a paper boat in a storm, where we can be stronger internally, and then it all starts from within, and then it's going to work its way outward too in our life. So Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Leo and or the 5th house. Okay, the theme card that popped out for you is the High Priestess. And one of the deep meanings of this card is it's a card of personal power. So let's look at the word power. Okay, what is electricity? Electricity is a power, right? We power our homes with electricity. We power so many things with electricity. But you know, the way electricity works is it uses a polarity, right? We have, positive and negative. Okay, the same way magnetism works, which is another power. Okay, the white pillar and the black pillar with the high priestess in between is showing that between the polarities there are power. Okay, if you're on one side or the other, electricity doesn't work. Okay, with one side of the circuit. Magnetism, you in order for it to work like it's supposed to, you need to have both polarities. Okay, and so this is what's happening here for you. This first half of February is about you developing and understanding and moving forward in your personal power, because this is one of the things that you're here to do. North nodes in Leo and or the 5th house, if they choose in this lifetime to tap into it, can tap into a tremendous amount of power. Why do I say that? Because the ruling planet for Leo and the 5th house is the sun. Okay, it's really a star. Okay, but you know what I mean. Like, this is the most powerful heavenly body uh, that is as near to us. Okay, is our own sun. Now let's look at your timeline cards. You've got the 8 of Cups upright. You've got the 10 of Pentacles upright. And you've got the 2 of Swords reversed. Now, each of these cards is representing a different area of life to where you can learn to exert your power, especially this month, okay? Let's look at the 8 of Cups. A lot of you are in the process or need to begin the process of emotionally making sense of something in your life, making sense of it, and the inability to put it to rest once and for all, to say, okay, I did that happened to me, so on and so forth, and I'm putting it to rest and I'm walking away. And that's what this card is talking about. The cups are all stacked neatly. You've made sense of something emotionally, and it's time to move on. That is power there. When we're able to finally move away emotionally from something that we need to move away from, it's flexing an extreme amount of power. Okay, so for some of you, there's going to be that going on. The other card here, the 10 of Pentacles. This is talking about family legacy. For some of you, there's situations to where you need to understand something within family dynamics, both past and present. Your place in these family dynamics, what it is, are you caring too much about what others in your family or group, and even if it's not a direct family, like close relationships, okay, but within even organizations, but what is your place in this, and are you caring too much about what they think, or are you standing in your own personal power? Okay, for some of you, that is what this reading means. Okay, your place in moving forward. Are you lost in an organization? Are you lost in a family, and you really haven't found your personal place in the world. For some of you, you're kind of finding that out. And then on the higher level, this is about you creating your personal legacy, because in this lifetime, North nodes in Leo and or the fifth house are given the opportunity to really stand out and do something great in this world, okay, above and beyond themselves. And that's really scary for a lot of them, because again, when we're dealing with the south node in the 11th house or Aquarius, we're talking about the family. I'm afraid to step out of the village. I'm afraid to step out of the organization and be on my own. It's too scary out there, okay? But you have what you need. You have the power to do something really great in the world, and it's just a matter of you finding it, okay? Now, the other aspect that could be going on for some of you is you've got this Two of Swords reversed. And what this is saying is that a lot of you have a tendency, when you have that south node like you have in Aquarius or the 11th house, to cut yourself off emotionally from things as a protection. And what this card is indicating is to really open up the floodgates. I think a lot of you are realizing, like, it feels really weird, but to open up the floodgates of emotion, connect to your heart energy, okay, because the maiden here is covering her heart with swords. So you might kind of protect yourself through intellect and thinking ability, but really opening up that heart, opening up intuition, opening up to really being emotionally connected to your life and your future. Okay, some of you are learning that. That again is a huge power, and this is about standing in between those two extremes. As I said, the white pillar and the black pillar. Now, your advice cards are interesting. You've got the Sun card. Look at that. And you've got the Queen of Wands reversed. And of course, wands rule all of the fire signs, including Leo in the fifth house, right? So the Sun, this is obvious, right? So this is saying, it's time for your sun to shine. Everybody that has a North Node in Leo or the fifth house has gifts to give to the world. Okay. And you might be listening to this, you might say, I don't know what my gifts are. Well, they're in there. You can discover them. But I'll give you a clue. One of the ways to discover them is make sure that you discover them on a personal basis, meaning you don't ask your friend, you don't ask your significant other or your family or friends or whatever. You have to find that within yourself, okay? And you'll know. And you need to go for it. Let that shine, okay? So this is optimism. This is childlike exuberance, okay? This is your star, okay? This is your star, the sun, right? Let it out. It's within you, okay? But you have to find it and you have to go for it. Now, the Queen of Wands is saying is because, look, this is going to be a process. And the reason that the Queen of Wands is reversed is saying that it's not something, yes, it can happen overnight, but for most of you, it's going to be a process. So it's like, you have, when you are first jumping into a pool or a pool of water, or some body of water that's like somewhat cold, right? And you kind of like dip your toes in, like some people just like to like jump in, okay? And that's okay if you feel comfortable doing that. Sometimes that can work, Others like to just kind of work themselves in. For most of you with this, it's going to be a process of discovery. It's going to be like, well, you just kind of like begin thinking that way and dipping your toes in, so just realize that this road you're on with this North Node is going to be a process. And one of the things that you want to do, another tip is, I would tell you, don't look to others close to you for guidance. Okay. And the reason I say that is because when you have this North Node, if you're looking to the tribe or the village or the family or whatever, they're looking at your life through who they think you should be. And this is a lifetime for you to find out who you really are. Okay. So this is something about self-discovery. This is truly self-discovery for you. But remember, it is going to be a process. So anyway, have fun with it. And I think that you're going to start making some real headway with things in your life regarding all that we talked about. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this reading and you found it valuable. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. See you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Virgo and or the 6th house. Okay, the card that popped out for you is the King of Wands. Now, the king is part of what we call the court cards. So the king, queen, knight, and pages. The court cards can be actual people in our life, or they can be energies. In this case, what I think this is talking about is it's about energy and inspiration. Okay, it's reversed. And I feel like what a lot of you have been kind of dealing with the past several months, and you're going to get some more clarity as we move forward into February and the rest of the year, is there could have been feeling like this kind of lack of inspiration or energy, in your life in general. And there's a reason for that, because, your South Node, the ruling planet for Pisces and or the 12th house is, Neptune. And, Neptune had been in Pisces for a while, and it was nearing its end as it's ready to move into Aries actually this month. And so it was kind of like that South Node energy that we all get from our South Node. There is a positive from that. You've been feeling like it's a little bit of a drain, and it hasn't really energized you like it has in the past. And so what's going on here is that you're kind of near the end of this cycle, but this energy and inspiration is going to come back to you, especially as your South Node ruling planet Neptune goes into Aries, the sign ruled by Mars, the planet and sign of action and inspiration. Let's look at your timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the 5 of Pentacles reversed. You've got the Empress reversed. And you've got the Page of Cups upright. So the 5 of Pentacles reversed is actually positive. All of the 5 cards in the reverse state are positive. And this is saying, like, you're coming out of a time of, feeling like less energy, as I said, and inspiration, kind of feeling maybe some of you like left out in the cold in your life. Okay. But this trend is starting to end. Okay. And what you're doing is you're slowly working into this Empress card. The Empress is talking about, kind of feeling more connected to your life. And it's the reason it's reversed is because you're in this process. You're not quite there. Realize that nothing in our chart in our life is like an on and off switch. It's not like walking into a dark room and flipping a light. The same thing with energies. They're always like transitional, and we have to be patient. And so the Empress, this is what you're moving toward, is this more kind of solid, stable life. And it's going to be, especially as we move more, Neptune really solidifies into the sign of Aries, you're going to start to feel this more. And your South Node is going to start feeding you more, feeding you this inspiration, which is going to fuel you. But as I said, the Empress is saying it's a process. And so, you're going to start to slowly, many of you are going to start to feel this in a positive way, the beginning of February and throughout the rest of the year. Now, the Page here of Cups is interesting, because what is gonna happen with this energy is, a lot of you, when you get this renewal, it's like this kind of emotional playfulness. A lot of you are going to start to feel like you were years ago. Like, one of the things that this card signifies is when we were younger, how we had like an optimism about life, and we were dreamers and we were playful with life. Okay. This is a very positive thing. And a lot of you, when you get this inspiration back, it's like almost like turning back the clock on your emotions, getting, getting younger, getting stronger. And when this happens, what you want to do with this energy is you want to start to utilize it in a practical way. Now, this is where your North Node in Virgo or the sixth house, how can you take this energy and turn it into something positive and tangible? Because one of the things you're here to do in this lifetime, because of your South Node in Pisces or the 12th house, is take all of this energy that you have from your past lives, all of this knowledge, all of this wisdom, and apply it in a very practical way. Virgo, sixth house, right? And so you're going to start to feel this. You're going to start to feel, a lot of you are going to feel like, at times in your life where, even if it's just a little bit, even if your life's not perfect, just begin to feel like, I feel a little bit more optimistic. I feel a little bit more, kind of energized. And the reason for that is, like I said, is your ruling South Node planet Neptune getting energized by Aries. Now let's look at your advice cards. So you've got the World card reversed and you've got the Tower card. Now, all of the so-called scary cards are nothing to fear. Death, the devil, the tower. Okay, the tower is just about something is changing within your life. Something is transforming, and it's in its positive state. Like when we have an awakening in our life, sometimes it could be this like, whoa, it's like this initial kind of shock, but the result afterwards is like being able to take that energy and like move forward. Sometimes things need to kind of get, shaken up. And I think that that's what this card is really saying is that your previous self and your way of being, and that kind of like, for a while, kind of feeling like a lack of inspiration and energy, is kind of getting shaken up. And the reason I say it's positive is because the world, even in its reversed state, is positive, but it's telling me that this is a process. The World card is saying that it's right there for you. And this is going to be a process of taking it step by step, day by day, taking that energy and beginning to apply it in a very positive and very practical way, in your life. What is it you want to do with this new energy as, your South Node is getting energized? Where is it you want to go? Like, the world is yours. Like, really look at what it is you want to do, because some of you have so many gifts that you can offer. And what your North Node does is it helps you focus in on something. That's where the positive aspects of Virgo come in, and the sixth house is the ability to focus in a practical way into a direction that you want to take. And so just remember, this is a process, but a lot of you are going to begin to feel it. Some of you probably already are, where you're starting to feel this like, okay, I'm kind of getting out of this funk that I was in. And all you have to do is realize it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Don't get impatient with yourself or the process, but start to realize what it is you want to do, and realize that if you are emotionally flexible and playful throughout this process, and not kind of closed in and cut off or stiff, if you're staying flexible and emotionally positive and playful, that's how you know you're on the right path. If you start to feel yourself like tighten up emotionally or mentally, okay, wait a minute, let me rethink this. Okay, so that's a big key for you. What this reading is really telling me is that your key moving forward is to recognize when you're on path and when you're not, and mentally and emotionally you'll know because of that Page of Cups. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Libra and or the seventh house. Okay, so the the theme card that popped out for you is the 9 of Wands reversed. And what this card is telling me, along with the spread, is that there's something the first half of February that's going to happen that is going to be something that is a situation from the past or something that has been like ongoing. But not so much that it was something that is old, but it was like a similar situation that's kind of resurfacing. And what you're being asked to do with this heads up for this reading is recognize not repeating old patterns, okay? Because the Nine of Wands is talking about, everything that we've gone through, our triumphs, our challenges, the things that we've done in the past, and do we learn from them? Because that's one of the greatest gifts for us in our lives when we can actually learn from a situation, because we've all been guilty of, kind of doing something, the same thing over and over again. You're like, how could I do that again? And hopefully we learn from that. So the situation is going to be something that is either exactly from the past or a very similar one that kind of could resurface. And you're being asked to recognize it and make sure that you have learned from your past experiences to maybe take a different route. Let's look at your timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the 10 of Cups upright. You've got the 6 of Cups reversed. And you've got the 9 of Pentacles upright. So the 10 of Cups here upright. Now, this is a beautiful card. And this is a card of emotional fulfillment. Now, on the card, you can see there's this like happy family, under a shining rainbow dancing. Okay. So yes, on the one sense, it could refer to, an actual family. So your family from, present family or past. But really the meaning of the card is emotional fulfillment. And so really what this is saying is that whatever this situation is that comes up, and it could be multiple situations the first half of February, what you're being asked to do is recognize that it's similar to things that have happened in the past, and make sure that you're not repeating a pattern, because this has to do ultimately with your emotional fulfillment, whether this has directly to do with your family from the past or family from the present. Because for some of you, it just could be a work situation. It could be a situation with a friend or whatever the case may be, something with your health. But you're just asked to look at it and make sure that you're not repeating a pattern. Now, the reason I say the past is because the 6 of Cups is a card of our emotional past. You can see that the 2 children here are playing in a garden. It's like childhood memories. This is definitely a card of, the emotional past, and it's reversed. And so a lot of these, past patterns are things that go way back. And we do carry these patterns, with us. And the beautiful thing in life is when we can kind of recognize a pattern and like change it. And I know we've all done that before, even though we have repeated patterns many times, a lot of times we've recognized it and say, oh, okay, not this time. I'm going to make a different decision. And so, this is something, as I said, that is stemming from, many years. And so you're being asked to like recognize that and not repeat that pattern. Now, the 9 of Pentacles is interesting because this is a beautiful card going along with this emotional fulfillment, because whatever this situation is for you, we are talking about you being able to level up. Like, let's just say we're going to do a hypothetical scenario. So there is a situation that comes up in work and career. Or if you're not working at a career, maybe something you're doing, are you volunteering or, whatever. And whatever that situation is of the work you're doing on a daily basis, okay? And a situation arises and you're able to recognize, okay, I have an emotional reaction to it and I have a feeling of how I want to react. But what you do is you pause for a moment and say, wait a minute, I always kind of react this similar way. Is this really the best route to take? And you actually make a different decision, even though, and this is the difficult thing about our patterns, is it's not like we're emotionally tied to these patterns. And so it's not like we have a choice a lot of times, because the patterns just come up. It's kind of like our reflex, right? But when you can stop and say, wait a minute, okay, let me really think this through. Let me think, is this, even though this is my, initial reaction, can I take a different route? And what this, Nine of Pentacles is saying is that this is about you leveling up, because this can really enhance your life. Like, just what I've noticed when working with our path and the North Node is, when we make little choices and have these little wins, they might seem insignificant, but when what ends up happening is, really, we're balancing different things that are balance within us, and we're leveling up, and we're co-creating with the universe, because the universe, as I always say, all it is seeking is balance. It's not seeking us to be perfect. It's not seeking us, no, it's not seeking good or bad. It's seeking a balance between that, because it's within the balance where we have experiences. We need both kinds of experiences, okay? So all we're simply doing is balancing out. And when you do that, this can really have a positive effect on your life. Now, let's look at your advice cards. So you've got the Seven of Cups reversed, and you've got the Death card. Now, as I always say in all my readings, the so-called scary cards in the tarot deck are nothing to fear. The Tower, Death, the Devil. Okay, these aren't talking about literal death or literal devil. Like, the devil isn't talking about an actual demon or the devil. These cards have deeper meanings. These are archetypal energies. And what death is it's about transformation. So when we change as a person, when we make changes, that could be with our thought processes, with our emotions, with how we choose to live our lives, how we choose our relationships, if we're going to get healthy. All of those things, the old ways have to die. It's about transformation. And so what this is saying is that this is an opportunity, the first half of February, for transformation for you. And it's really important that you take that, because even if it seems really, insignificant, if you find yourself this month maybe repeating a pattern, like you catch yourself, like you have a reaction, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. But if you catch yourself, wow, okay, I just kind of reacted to that, and maybe I should have taken a different route. Well, learn from that. Even if an opportunity is missed, right? That's fine, because that's how we learn. Now, this reversed Seven of Cups is saying, like, okay, these are emotional choices. And sometimes the Seven of Cups, can be, when it's reversed, can be like confusion. You can see that there's all these emotional choices that are on the table at any given moment. Okay. And so, your advice is, don't get confused, because remember, one of your gifts in this lifetime is, well, is choosing things by weighing things out. Remember, what is the image or the sigil for the sign of Libra? It's the balance scales, right? Weighing things out, as opposed to being impulsive, like our South Node in Aries or the first house, which is, I'm going to react to this, and this is how it is. So when you have this thoughtful balance, you're able to make a better decision. And that's what this is saying. It's saying, like, don't be too quick to make a decision, but it might be confusing, because your initial reaction is to make a decision as quickly as possible. That's your South Node. But basically, take the time to, weigh this out and think things through. And then when you do that, you'll be able to make a better decision. But yeah, this is an awesome opportunity for you this month to really like level up. And I'm seeing that it will have immediate benefit to your life in a very positive way. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. Many thanks. We'll see you on some more videos. Blessings. Okay, North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Six of Wands reversed. And when I saw this card, immediately what popped into my head, because a lot of times I'll get this like mini kind of intuitive hit when I see cards. Um, it was a delayed victory. That's what kind of popped into my head, and based on this whole reading, it's totally being kind of reinforced. So the first half of February, I'm seeing that a lot of you um, have victory at your hands with something in your life. Okay, for each of you, it's going to be different. It could be something in work and career. For some of you, it could be, money, finances. For others, it could be, in relationships or something to that effect, health and, wellness. But you have a victory, but it's a delayed victory. And there's something that you need to do in order to make sure that this victory happens. So it's not going to be automatic. So maybe you've been working for something or thinking about doing something for a while, and you're looking, maybe kind of at the end of the road for this situation, and you're wondering, okay, is this going to turn out, good or not so good? I'm seeing that there's a very, very definitely a positive victory that's ahead, but there's a certain thing you have to do in order to make that happen. Now let's look at your timeline cards and we'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Ace of Pentacles upright. You've got the Chariot card reversed. And you've got the Wheel of Fortune upright. So obviously right off the bat, we'll start with, the Wheel of Fortune, and you got the Ace of Pentacles upright, both of these cards. This is what I'm talking about, a victory, a change of fortune for the better. You see Ace of Pentacles. Yes, it has to do with money, finances, property, things of value, but also things that are not necessarily of physical value. Like we're talking about our emotional well-being, our love, our time, our relationships. These are things that are extremely valuable in our life, even more valuable than physical things. Okay, so all of this is there for you. Okay, now what do you have to do to kind of turn the tide and make sure that you can turn whatever this is for you personally into a victory? Well, we look at the Chariot card reversed. Okay, the Chariot is one of the cards of the tarot deck that is about movement. Okay, the Chariot is being pulled by the Black Sphinx and the White Sphinx, and very much like the Black Pillar and White Pillar in the High Priestess card, we're talking about the polarities of life, of what moves things forward, like electrical circuitry, okay, like magnetism. We need both polarities to move forward. Now, when the Chariot's reversed, it could mean that it's at a standstill. It could mean that it is going to one side or the other, or even in reverse, okay? So what you're supposed to do is you need to do something in order to make this victory happen, okay? Now, that's a big thing. Like, what do I do? See, so what you need to do is you need to investigate, and this is where your North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house is. In order to finish this, whatever this is, to make it victorious, you have to go deeper and you have to make some sort of adjustments based on what your findings are. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So we're working towards something. And as opposed to just saying, okay, like it seems to be moving on, let me just like let it go into cruise control and see what happens. Okay. That's what you don't want to do. What you're supposed to do at this point is work this along the way and see it through to its completion. But what you have to do is you have to go deeper into whatever the situation is. There could be some missing elements that you're not seeing, but you need to make some adjustments, okay? And in order to make the Chariot go upright, in order to go, because when the Chariot goes upright with all of these cards, you're going to win at something, whatever that is, whatever you're working toward. So this is an amazing reading, but you have to be, there is something, an element that you have to add in order to make this happen. Now, I can't tell each one of you what that is. I can give you a clue that whatever you're working toward, just like double think, think about it twice, 3 times, 4 times, go over it, investigate, and see what adjustments that you need to make. This is part of that North Node in Scorpio, or the 8th house, of going deeper. The investigator, okay, the scientist, the archaeologist, go deeper into this situation, and your adjustments are what is going to push you toward victory. Now, your advice cards are, you've got the Knight of Cups reversed, and you've got the Justice card upright. This is going to require a balance, because just like we can see the Black Sphinx and the White Sphinx, which is talking about balance of polarities, we've got the, romantic dreamer, the dreamer, the knight in shining armor, Knight of Cups, which is reversed. And again, this is a card of movement. And you've got the upright, Judgment card, which you can see the judge sitting on the throne, holding the sword of the intellect, the mind, and thought processes, and holding the scales. And so what this is saying here is that it's going to require a balance of not just thinking, okay, and this is a big clue for you, not just your intellect, and also not just your emotions and your intuition, which should be a play. It needs to be a balance of both. What are your instincts saying? Because you North Nodes in Scorpio or the 8th house are very, very naturally intuitive, psychic, instinctual. Your instincts are good. But this is saying it's going to have to be a balance between logic and thinking and instincts and intuition, okay? So that's the clue for you while you're digging deeper, is use that balance. If it seems good in your mind, the direction you want to take, but doesn't really feel right in your gut instinctually, don't do it. If you're feeling super intuitive, like, oh, I think that's, the way I want to go, but it's not making complete sense to your mind, like it's like, well, so this is that balance, okay? But the positive thing is, the reward is, whatever it is, you can win at this. So yeah, very, very powerful reading. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. See you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Sagittarius and or the 9th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Five of Pentacles. And when I saw this card, I'm feeling like a lot of you, there's an area or areas of your life that could feel like a little bit like you feel maybe distant from, or it's almost like feeling like left out in the cold, or there's something like you're trying to get through something. Okay, so there's one or more areas of your life that it just like, it doesn't seem like it's like working, and you're looking for some sort of answers. And I feel like you're there. Like all of us go through, we go through trends, all of us, and we go through different phases in our life, and we're not always winning, we're not always losing. There's always like a balance, and that's how life is, because really what life is as a human is, it's about experience. We're here to experience different things, and that's what makes life interesting. As I always say, if we look at our lives like stories, in books or like movies, we don't want to see just one thing. We want to see like a balance of things. We want, sometimes characters are winning, sometimes that there's something they have to overcome because there's some sort of a battle. And so that's so is with our life, and so there's a trend where I feel like you're in this phase where there's an aspect of your life that you're trying to heal and get better, and it just feels a little bit like, kind of down right now, and it's a little bit, you might feel, we all feel that way, slightly lost in some aspect of your life. Okay, let's look at your timeline card. So you've got the 5 of Cups upright. You've got the 8 of Wands reversed, and you've got the 6 of Wands reversed. So yeah, with the 5 of Cups, it could be something that's like an old wound or some emotional healing wound that needs to be taken care of. That some of you might be going through. For others, with this Knight of Wands, or excuse me, 8 of Wands, reverse. This is about, like, things maybe are a certain aspect of your life seems like it's not going in the right direction, or like at a standstill. And then with the 6 of Wands reversed over here, it's like, kind of like, when am I going to start to win? And, when are things going to get better in this certain aspect or aspects of my life? Okay. So, we've all been there. And the thing about it is that this is giving you an opportunity to, when you go through this, to add to who you are. They say, like, character building, but going through this, when you can get through this phase, you're going to really level up as a human being. Like, really, one of the things about Sagittarius north nodes, or north nodes in the ninth house, is about, experience that turns into wisdom, right? Because what the chain of events are, and this is how we learn, experience turns into knowledge, and then applied knowledge is wisdom. Okay, that's how it works. So when we are experiencing learning how to do something, okay, we experience it, we work on doing it, that becomes knowledge. And then when we apply that knowledge that we've learned, then that turns into wisdom. And so essentially that's what all this is. Now, I feel like this is just a passing phase. And a lot of times readings come up like this is to, give you, kind of a pick me up, like this, you're going to get through this. Now, your advice cards are going to be some, clues of how to work with this. So you have the Page of Wands, and you've got the reversed High Priestess here. So the Page of Wands, wands are about energy, vitality, inspiration, our inner fire. And what you really need right now in this aspect of your life is, you need to recharge yourself, recharge your energy. So when we've all gone through this, and I know I can personally relate to this, like we go through a phase in our life where, it's not working so great. Okay. And instead of just trying to, push through, sometimes we have to, like, stand back and say, okay, I got to rethink this. Let me recharge myself. So sometimes, like, as a quick example, like, let's say that the writers will say they get, like, writer's block, right? And I've heard many, many different authors talk about how what they'll do is, instead of trying to force things, they'll stop, they'll close the pages, get off the computer, close the laptop, and they'll go out and they'll have some lunch, get some fresh air, go for a walk, whatever it is, go, if you like to go swimming, or you need to recharge. And that's what I'm seeing in this situation is that, not to force it, but this is a time to recharge your batteries. Okay. And nurture yourself. Okay. You could see that, the page here is lovingly holding the wands. Now, one of the things that wands are, the page of wands, is pages are about messages too. So your body's telling you that. Your body's saying, like, okay, you don't need to try to force it now. It's time to, like, let's take care of our own energy. Okay. So however you nurture yourself, that's going to have a huge impact. And then when you go, you're going to see things, and revisit whatever this is you're trying to accomplish. You're going to get through it, because it is just a phase. And then the High Priestess reversed is saying, okay, essentially what this is what you're learning about this experience is it's about inner power. Okay. It's about personal power. That's one of the things that this is talking about with the high priestess. The high priestess is about our personal power in the world. Now, why would this have to do with power? Okay. When we are able to navigate a difficult time in our life, when we're able to navigate it and get through it to the other side, that takes an extreme amount of personal power, and it enhances our personal power and our experience to that. The reason that I say that is because if you see, like, let's say, a kid, right, is raised completely, rich, given everything their whole life, right, through childhood, teenagehood, into their 20s and 30s, like they're just like filthy rich, they never have to do anything, right? They, what I mean, not to judge, but like really, most of the time, what kind of a person do they end up being? If they've never had any sort of struggle or any sort of challenges, a lot of times kind of like an empty vessel, I mean, we've all seen it, right? And, not to name any names, but we see that because like someone else that has gone through things, that has, grown up with, one parent, a mother working, three jobs and having to struggle and work themselves through this and that. I mean, their character, they're much more, you know, let's just say like quality humans, right? So the struggles that we go through create are a quality of character that you can't get anywhere else. Okay. Now that doesn't make going through things any easier, but it does kind of in our mind, we wrap our head around, okay, I can get through this. And that's what I'm saying. You will kind of get through whatever aspect of your life. And, it doesn't have to be anything major. It just could be just one area of your life. Maybe work is going wonderful and career, and maybe there's some things in your personal life that, that are challenging, right? For some of you, it could be like your personal life is wonderful, but there's work and career things, or friendships, or something else. It could be a health thing. Okay. But I think for each of you, there's that one aspect that you're being asked to kind of overcome. So nurture yourself, feed yourself, be gentle with yourself, get through it, and you will see that this is going to get better. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. See you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. Okay, so the card that popped out for you is the 7 of Cups reversed. And I'm feeling like for the first half of February, you North Nodes in Capricorn or the 10th house, there could be a situation, an aspect of your life where it's a little bit confusing, or you have choices to make and you're not sure exactly what direction to go in making a choice in the direction of some aspect of your life. It could be multiple aspects, but there could be a little bit of confusion on where to go. And I feel like this reading is going to clarify and help you to kind of make this decision, because one of the things about your North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house is to really develop a sense of decisiveness, and then feeling good about your decisions. That's one of the skill sets. But I feel like there's some aspect of your life that's a little bit confusing, and there's choices you need to make. Let's look at your timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the World card upright. You've got the 9 of Swords reversed, and you've got the King of Swords upright. So the World card at the bottom here is showing that like this is important, because when you see the World card, it could be like this could be a time to level up. It's an important decision. This is going to, when you're able to make the correct decision and move in a good direction, that's part of your life path and life purpose, it can really like level you up. So this is an important thing to navigate, is what it's showing me. And with this 9 of Swords here reversed. Oh, I'll bring in the King of Swords too, because they're kind of going hand in hand. One of the things that's not going to help you is worry and anxiety. So you're being asked to, you could be having anxiety and worry about these decisions, or this decision that you're trying to make, trying to figure out some aspect of your life. Okay, so you're making some decision, and there could be worry and anxiety. You want to take that off the table, okay? And what you're being asked to do is you're being asked to use your logic and intellect, because all of you that have this north node are very naturally emotionally intelligent and intuitive. Okay, that's based on your south node in Cancer, or the fourth house. So you already have emotions down, most of you. Okay, but in this lifetime, sometimes your emotions aren't your best friend, and sometimes we have to like calm those emotions down, because the emotions could cause worry and anxiety because you're emotionally trying to figure out something. And because it is a superpower, your emotions are a superpower. But in this case, what you want to bring in is, you want to bring in like logic, and you want to bring in thinking ability in order to solve this issue. So if you're feeling anxious or worried about something, you need to like go, okay, let me think this through. So you literally have to like limit your emotions and say, okay, I'm going to set those aside. I'm not denying them, but I'm going to set them aside. Now let me go into my mind. Let me look at this situation and these choices I need to make, or choice I need to make, and think about through it logically and with your intellect, without emotions involved. And you're going to find that it's going to come out much better. That's what you're being asked to do. Now, your two advice cards to get some more clarity on what we need to do is, you've got the Eight of Cups upright, and you've got the Three of Cups reversed. Okay, so we have cups, emotions, right? Now, what the Eight of Cups is saying is, you could see this person is walking away from emotions, literally walking away from this emotional situation, and they're taking a different road. They're saying, okay, that is what it is. There's my emotions. Okay, these are my cups. These are my emotional experiences. I'm literally walking away. I'm going to take a different route. And that's what I was talking about with this King of Swords is, you don't deny your emotions, but you say like, that in this case, they aren't going to help me. What's going to help me is if I think this through logically. Okay, so that's what this card is saying. And the Three of Cups reversed is interesting, because one of the meanings of this card is, a lot of times, readers will say, oh, it's like, emotional celebration. This card is much, much more, just like most cards in the tarot deck. This is about intertwining our emotions at a deep level with other people. You can see the maidens are dancing close together, and they have their arms and cups intertwined. So what does this mean in this situation? This is meaning, when it's reversed, that you're being asked to make this decision without taking into consideration the emotional input of others or their advice. This is something that you have to do and figure out through what your mind and your logic is saying, okay? Because no matter how well-meaning people are, we all have people in our life that are close to us. There's many times, no matter how much people love us and we love them, sometimes we have to go, many times we have to go with what we feel is right. And it's not because they're trying to mislead us, it's just because they're not us, and they're coming from a different place. So that's what this is saying is, don't try to figure this out through other people that are close to you. This is something that you have to figure out and make this decision alone. So the key is, if you're feeling anxious and you're emotional about it, stop. Okay, don't worry about that. You want to like go and figure this out through your mind and your intellect, right? And then you're going to find that it's going to be the better decision, and it's going to be less confusing, and you're going to actually be able to go toward this world card and really, make a better world for yourself, regarding all of this. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Aquarius and or the 11th house. Okay, the theme card that popped out for you is the Two of Pentacles. And I feel like for the first half of February, all of you are trying to you're trying to balance out and figure out one aspect of your life. It could be multiple aspects, but it could be of things we value. Like you're trying to juggle or balance out. It could be money or finances. It could be decisions. Financial decisions. It also could be other things of value. It could be our time. Like figure out. How do I balance? How do I fit in all of these different things in my life, and how do I fit in balancing relationships with work or this with that, so it's basically balancing things in our life that we care about and that we value. And I feel like you're gonna kind of figure it out, but the reading here is giving you some clues on how to like find this balance. So let's look at your timeline. You've got the Four of Cups reversed. You've got the Two of Wands upright, and you've got the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So starting with the Four of Cups reversed, in February, you could see here that this person is kind of distraught and is dismayed over these three cups, kind of sitting there pondering, I'm not sure about all this, situation. But there's this other cup that is, the person doesn't see it, that's floating in the air. And this is a hidden aspect of your situation that it's going to come to light. So in February, a big clue, a big emotional clue is going to come to you in the beginning of February to help you to figure all of this out. And it's something that you haven't really seen before or taken into consideration before. It's some hidden aspect where we've all experienced that, where all of a sudden we're trying to figure something out, and then all of a sudden a missing piece of the puzzle comes, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. And so there's this missing piece that's going to be coming in, and when it comes in, it's going to help you kind of do this balancing act. Now the Two of Wands up here is saying that the reason that this is happening is because this is about, you learning how to construct the world and the life that you want. It's like this is a lifetime for you to really kind of go in a new direction. When you have a North Node in Aquarius or the 11th house, this is like being innovative. The 11th house in Aquarius rules ingenuity and innovation. And so this is a lifetime for you to go in a way, in a different path that you haven't done before. And when you figure that out, it's hugely beneficial to your life. And so the reason that this person is holding the globe in their hands is literally like, many times in life we are influenced by others around us or by circumstances, but a lot of the stuff is in our world is in our control. And so that's what this is saying, is that this is about when you do this and you're able to see this missing piece, put it together, and you're really in more control of your life and helping it go to a better direction. Now, the Wheel of Fortune reversed is just saying that, look, this is going to be a process. So when you figure out this missing piece of the puzzle and you begin to go in a direction, it's not going to be an instantaneous win. It's going to be this process. That's what I'm feeling about this. Like a lot of times when we go into a new direction, it's like it takes a bit to get going. It's like kind of like if you were ever did this, if you took like a glass of liquid or something and you're stirring it like with a spoon or something, and then you take the spoon out and the water or liquid is keeps going in that direction. And I think we've all done this even as a kid, right? And then you try to go in the opposite direction. It's like, whoa, it's like hard at first, but if you keep going at it, then it starts to go in the new direction. That's kind of how this missing piece is that it's like you're going in a new direction when this missing piece comes in, but it's going to be this process, but it's going to be a beneficial process, and you're being asked to kind of stick with it. Now, we'll look at your advice cards here. You've got the Two of Cups upright, and you've got the Six of Swords reversed. The Two of Cups is interesting because I feel like part of this missing puzzle that's going to come in, this missing piece that you need to figure out, has to do with another person or people, like their emotional input. Because one of the things, now whether that be a single person or multiple people, but I think there's going to be other people involved that are going to help you with this decision. And the reason for that is because when you have a North Node in Aquarius or the 11th house in Aquarius rules like the collective. It rules groups of people. It rules organizations working together. Okay. So this is about working together, whether that be with a single person or multiple people. And the Two of Cups is saying that this is really what's going to help you. If you find yourself trying to figure out and balance this on your own, okay, you're gonna know that it's not really the right thing. Okay, the missing puzzle piece is going to come in, and it has to do with, I guarantee you, it's going to have to do with working with other people, another person, or at least other people, right? And so that's one of the advice cards. And then this other one, the Six of Swords reversed, is saying that, this is a card of moving away, mentally from problems and issues. But because it's reversed here, what this is saying is, again, this is going to be a process. It doesn't mean that when you begin to solve this, you're going to see results, but it's going to be this process where it could take a bit to develop whatever the situation is. Like, no, so what do I mean by that? So let's just say, for example, the decision is, I value my health and I want to be more healthy. Okay. I really want to stick to my New Year's resolutions, and I want to exercise, eat better, do all of that. So I'm trying to balance this aspect out of my life. And the missing puzzle piece is, I found a good program to work with. Is it a trainer, or I found like a good video program or some sort of a health regimen? So that is the missing puzzle piece that comes in. Well, when a person does that and they work for like a week or 2 weeks, they're not instantly healthy. Okay. It's a process. So they stick to it. So the results, there are results that are going to happen, but it's going to be a process before the real results come. That's what this reading is saying, is that when you figure out what you need to do, realize that is a process. And that's what this Six of Swords is saying, is that, okay, yes, you will start moving in a good direction, but you really won't notice it until you really start, keeping with it. Okay, whatever that decision is in your life, whether it be through relationships, work, health, whatever it is, it's the sticking to it and realizing that it's this process. Okay. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. See you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Pisces and or the 12th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the reversed Three of Swords. And yes, the Three of Swords is talking about emotional wounding, and a lot of times it has to do with emotional wounding, that things that happen in our life or have happened, right? But it's reversed here. But there is a healing going on, and it doesn't have to do with. I feel like for most of you, what you've been feeling with maybe emotions being slightly down or off recently, the past several months, has nothing to do with a particularly wound in your life or some sort of emotional wounding, but it has to do energetically with your planetary ruler for your north node, which is Neptune. Now, Neptune has been in Pisces, and it's been feeding this beautiful emotional energy with all of this like watery, energy. It's like feeding a garden with water, like a tropical garden. And now in this month, Neptune is moving into Aries, which is the completely different energy. Aries ruled by the planet Mars. I mean, it's like this drying up period. So what a lot of you are feeling is you're feeling this energetic shift going from think about a beautiful garden in an arboretum, right? That's being fed and tended with water and nurturing, right? And all of a sudden that nurturing and that watering starts to go away, and it begins to dry up. Like, imagine that kind of a feeling in the garden. And so energetically, that's what a lot of you are feeling, because you're going from Neptune being in its home sign of Pisces, now moving into Aries. So that's a completely different energy. So this is a process, and it's an adjustment period. So if you've been feeling like slightly like dried up emotionally in some way or some aspect of your life, it's not you or your life. It's energetically, literally what's happening. Now let's look at your timeline. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Ace of Pentacles reversed. You've got the Star card upright, and you've got the Ace of Cups upright. So the Ace of Pentacles reversed is literally when it's like this, it's kind of like there's this value shift that you have been able to feel as Neptune has been transitioning slowly out of Pisces into Aries. You've been feeling this shift, and it's all of a sudden like it could feel like emotionally the rug's being pulled out, or like this richness being kind of like taken away. That's really what this is, like this deep richness that's like fading away, like I was talking about with that garden. But don't worry, because this is just an adjustment period. Because what's going to end up happening is, you've got the Star card and you've got the Ace of Cups here. What's going to happen is, after this adjustment period, there's going to be this balancing point, and all of this is backed up in the astrology moving forward, where there's going to be this balance of the watery energy along with the energy of Mars, to where you'll be able to work with it. Because remember, too much water or lack of sunlight in any sort of a garden isn't good. There has to be a balance, right? And so what's going to end up happening is you're going to find this balance as Neptune settles into the sign of Aries. Okay, you're going to be doing a lot better. But that's how, the reason why you've been feeling like this is simply astrologically, the energies have felt like a slow depletion of that richness. And after this adjustment period, this is really one of the great things, because the reason the Star card is here is that this is a huge opportunity for experience. Because one of the things about your North Node in Pisces is it's about the experience of living life. It's about the experience of going through and transiting into different energies, transmuting energies, all of that. Okay, so this after you get through this adjustment period, this is part of your path, part of what you're here to learn. It is all good and all positive. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Page of Swords reversed, and you've got the Two of Wands reversed. Okay, interesting cards here. The Page of Wands is really talking about your South Node in Virgo, or the 6th house. And what this is saying is, the Page of Wands is a card of vigilance. It's about hard work. It's a card of observation. And the reason it's reversed is it's saying, as you're going through this, don't overthink this process. Go, just try to transition into this new energy and keep feeding yourself. But the fear that a lot of you could have in this situation is you could start overthinking things and like falling back on that south node where, okay, how do I fix this? I'm feeling this way. And then you could start to maybe like micromanage your mind and your emotions and your life. And you don't want to do that. That's very Virgo, sixth house south node. But you want to stay in your feels, keep enriching yourself, find ways to balance all of this out. You need to maybe feed yourself, because you've been used to having this watery energy with Neptune being in Pisces fed to you. Now, like, find new ways to emotionally feed yourself. Okay, that's one of the things this is saying. And then this Two of Wands reversed is saying that, you know, you can see that the world, this person's world is in their hands. Okay, this is out of your control. I mean, you need to ride this. A lot of times in life, we need to ride these experiences, okay? And it's not always about trying to figure out, you know, a problem and solving it. This is something where you don't want to just say, again, Virgo South Node or sixth house South Node, I got to go to work here. I got to figure this out. Let me get my microscope out and figure this out. You don't want to do that. You want to just ride these energies out and learn how. The only thing you need to do is learn to adjust it yourself, but not try to figure it out. It's not a time to like work and dive in and you know, try to figure this out through your own efforts. The only thing you have to do is experience it and make adjustments within yourself. And you're going to see that after, you know, Neptune settles into Aries, all of you will be fine, and you're going to see that you're going to make this adjustment, and you're going to be fine. But as I said, this is just an adjustment period. So if you've been feeling like emotionally depleted or like things are drying up, you know, don't worry. It is just temporary. Okay. Anyway, I hope this reading is helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings.